Hey everyone, welcome to the Super Review Show's mixed bag coming to you live once again from the J Cave. And just to finally remind everyone, we the best
podcast.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone is doing well tonight. Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully everyone is doing just fine. And tonight is our part 2 of our better solo career. Phil Collins or Peter Gabriel. So Bill, why don't you explain what are we doing tonight? What's going on?
Okay, well, tonight we are talking about. Okay, last week we did Steve Perry and Peter Cetera, two
Yes.
people from two different bands. So for the next two ones, we're going to do people who were in the same bands. Tonight we're going to be doing Peter Gabriel, who was in Genesis, versus the man who replaced him, Phil Collins.
Correct.
And next week is, you know what? We're going to keep that on the.
Oh yeah, on the DL. What's on the DL tonight?
Well, we're going to tell you this. Next week is the big one.
Yes,
It's
the big one.
The big one.
The big one.
What is it? Well, you're going to have to tune in next week to find out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So anyway, today we are going to be discussing the solo careers of Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins.
Yep. Are you all set? Can I share my screen?
I am ready to share for you to share the screen.
Who do you want to start with? Let's start with Phil Collins, okay?
Okay, let's start with Phil Collins.
Why don't you go first, my friend? What do you got tonight?
Okay, so Phil Collins, his music is okay. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I'm not a huge Phil Collins fan. I don't hate him. There are actually a good amount of songs by him that I do like, but I don't know. Am I making any sense here? I'm not a huge Phil Collins fan.
I'm not either. I mean, there are some people who are fanatical Phil Collins fans, or even huge Genesis fans, truthfully. So it all depends on what you like, truthfully.
Yeah, but his music, I would say, is your very typical 80s synth style. Has a lot of synth in it. And it's either more of the ballady types, or it could be more of such as, I don't really know how to describe his music. I am not doing a good job here.
Is it pop music? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I would say it is pop music.
I mean, like he one of his biggest hits was a cover of the Supremes' "You Can Hurry Love." So there's one right there,
which was actually the B-side to one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite Phil Collins song, "I Don't Care Anymore."
Okay.
Have you ever heard that one?
I have not. And full disclosure,
I don't care anymore.
Full disclosure.
Sorry, go on.
You're good. Full disclosure, everyone. We had trouble. Like we thought of this. We thought of these artists because we thought they were similar enough to talk about. There are some people who are fanatical, like humongo fans of Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel. I really only know the hits, and in coming up with research for tonight's topic,
it was kind of tough.
It was tough for us. So forgive us if we're not sharing too much information. We just don't know a lot, truthfully. And that's not.
I try looking it up. It's like it is very that 80s synth pop stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Like, because I think people always look at Phil Collins for his works, for his big number one hits, such as "In the Air Tonight."
Yep, that's a big one.
You know what song I always think? You know what I always think about when it comes to Phil Collins?
What?
With "In the Air Tonight"?
What do you think of?
The Hangover.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Remember that scene with Mike Tyson? Hold on, my favorite part is here. Boom. Yeah. But Phil Collins. Wow, he had more U.S. top 40 hit singles than any other artist during the 1980s.
That's crazy. If you think about it, that's crazy.
Can you scroll down, please? More.
Sorry, let's go to his discography. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Yes, sorry everyone. Little lag tonight.
Yeah, and
Hold on.
also did you know, like, and here's an interesting fact about Phil Collins. He performed at Live Aid in both the London and the Philadelphia concert.
Because they were 2 separate days, right?
No, they're on the same day.
How did he do that?
He went on stage. He first he performed the song Take a Look at Me Now.
Uh-huh.
You know, take a look at me now.
Yeah.
And then he did the song Every Move You Make or Every Breath You Take with
Sting from the Police.
with Sting from the Police. And then he goes,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm off to London.
Wow.
Now I'm off not London. Now I'm off to Philadelphia.
Really?
I'm gonna go play because he actually, if you look at Led Zeppelin's performance
Yeah.
in Live Aid, which they themselves did not like,
Right.
Phil Collins is playing drums.
Oh wow. For Led Zeppelin, right? Okay.
Yeah, because this was that period after their drummer John Bonham's passed on. So Phil Collins took drumming responsibilities.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, he performed in both London. He goes, okay, I'm in London. Okay, gotta go to Philadelphia now. That man must have been freaking exhausted.
I'm sure he was. I mean, if he got off the plane and then went straight there, so.
But but I remember the intro to when Phil Collins was playing. Sting plays Roxanne, and he goes, Phil will be here in a second. And then he plays Roxanne. And then, okay, now Phil Collins. But yeah, Phil Collins's music is that very 80s. You know, I feel like a lot of his music is kind of similar.
I would say so.
It's either the 80s synth pop stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's either more the 80s synth pop stuff, or it's more the sort of more like adult contemporary type ballads.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, click on discography. Let's see what type of singles he has.
He's released 8 solo studio albums. Oh, he's actually sold 150 million worldwide. That's weird. That's actually not that bad.
That's pretty good.
Huh. All right.
On singles as lead artist.
Yeah, In the Air Tonight was a big hit too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, it was a top 20 hit in here in the US. And you want to know, like, I think that song was about I heard it was about one of his divorces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that song helped pay back his alimony.
There you go. That's
the rumor. Well, God, that and the song I just said, I Don't Care Anymore, that was actually about another one of his divorces.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow. I think he just gets married all these times. So he's like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. In a few years, we're going to get divorced, and I'm going to write a top 20 single about our divorce.
Oh, God. All right.
So he was Taylor Swifted before Taylor Swift was a thing.
Yeah, before she was born.
Because the joke is that, okay, this is such a 2010 joke.
Okay.
Taylor Swift has a new boyfriend, a.k.a. a future song title.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I Don't Care Anymore just hit the top 40 in the US. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising. He's played so much in like the US, but in other parts of the world, he had a lot of other chart success too, which is not that bad.
Yeah, like for instance, In the Air Tonight, in like other countries, it hit number 3, number 2, and even number 1. Well, in the U.S., it barely hit the top 20.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy to me.
Against All Odds hit number 1.
Yeah, he had a couple of number one hits,
He had a couple number 1 hits here in the great U.S. of A.
and like the late '80s. Yeah,
When he was probably trying to come off the niche as the Genesis guy.
yeah. Well, I mean, well, he didn't they just reunite with Genesis too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 buddies of mine actually just saw him and just saw them back in December at the Garden.
a friend of mine did too, actually.
Yeah, but sadly, Phil Collins has been having a lot of health issues over the last couple of years.
I've heard about that too. I heard when he was performing, he actually sat down the whole time.
Yeah, another friend of mine actually saw him, and he said he did not look good.
Oh, that's not good.
He said he did not look good.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's funny.
What?
Um, a lot of radio stations today will only play In the Air Tonight, but that was a number one hit around the world, really, except for the U.S. It says here that it was a number 19 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, but he has at least, hold on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 number one hits on the Billboard Hot 100. That's crazy.
And the only one they focus on is
The lowest of the hits.
you know what? Like, here's what I'm going to say. Like if you go to on any adult contemporary station, what song are you going to hear from Phil Collins?
In the Air Tonight, You Can't Hurry Love.
I've never really heard that, but yeah, you know what? I probably heard it around. Also, I've heard Against All Odds on the radio a few times.
Yeah, I mean, you hear some. I mean, I personally have not. I mean, it's also adult contemporary stuff, and it's not that I don't listen to that stuff, but like, it's interesting to see how much chart success he has had compared to him. Well, only really being known for In the Air Tonight and what's the other one? You Can't Hurry Love.
You know what? Let's check how many number 1 hits has he had when he was with Genesis.
With Genesis? Hold on one sec.
Go back.
I got it. I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question. Let's see. Genesis discography. Tonight's more of a laid back night kind of guys. Okay, they've done 15 albums. Hold on one sec. Let's go to singles from the 60s. Holy crap.
That was probably when the other gentleman was there.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. So in the US, you're looking at in the US main Hot 100. Hold on. The US Hot 100. Hold on. Because it says here. So no. They never had. No, they had one. Invisible Touch was one of them.
Scroll up. Wait, that's not with the US. Oh, it is with the US Hot 100.
The US Hot 100, only Invisible Touch reached number 1 for Genesis, 1986.
By the way, I actually really do like that song, though.
It's a good song. I mean, I
seems to have the invisible touch. Yeah, she takes control and goes right over your heart. She seems to have an invisible touch. Yeah, she takes control and slowly tears you apart. Yeah, but I really do like that song. I also like That's All.
And that's a good one too.
That's all. But he
had more success as a solo artist than he did as a with Genesis.
And you know what? That's very rare. Once you think about it.
Yeah, I mean that's
very rare because usually when they break off and get solo, like we talked about last week with Steve Perry, like he didn't have a number 1 single when he went solo. Like I think the highest he went was Oh Sherry, and that went at number 3.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Yeah.
I mean, also Peter Cetera, though, we talked about that this last week. Peter Cetera had a couple number 1 hits outside Chicago.
He had a total of 2. And that was it.
Okay, he had only two.
Oh, yeah, only two. I know that for a fact. Yeah, he only had two.
He only had,
As a solo artist, he only had two. But with Chicago, if you're including Chicago, he had a total of four.
Phil Collins. Go back. I want to check something with Mr. Collins.
Collins kind of
go to no, not with discography. Just okay.
Collins kind of
awards and nominations. I want to check that out for a sec.
Yes. Let's see. Grammy Awards?
Yeah, Grammys. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta see. Okay, let's see. He won 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scroll down.
You have 6 so far.
7, 8. He's won 8 Grammys.
Pretty good.
And he's also won an Oscar.
That's right. Which one was it? He won it for.
He won an Oscar for
Tarzan.
You'll Be in My Heart for Tarzan.
That's right. Okay.
I probably, you know how he probably got in the whole Disney bubble?
How?
Picture this. It's one night in like the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
He's sitting at a bar in London waiting for his good friend Elton John.
Yeah.
And Elton goes, "Hey, Phil, hello. I'm sorry I'm late. I was getting my Oscar
Oh my
polished. I was getting my Oscar polished." Elton, how did you get one of those? Oh, did you see? I just called in with the mouse. And I have an Oscar.
And sure enough, if you're with Disney, you get anything.
And then Phil goes, "Oh, I should try that." But you know what? Like, here's what I'll say about Tarzan in general.
Yeah, what about it?
Okay. Have you seen it?
I have. Not for a very long time, but I have seen it, yes.
But what I find so weird about that movie
Is what?
is that the characters don't really sing once you look at it for a musical.
Like the characters of Tarzan and Jane and whatnot?
Yeah, they don't sing. It's mainly Phil Collins in the background.
That's interesting.
Except okay, actually, no, I lied. Yeah, I know, shame. No, if you look at the beginning and You'll Be in My Heart, the mom gorilla is singing the beginning of You'll Be in My Heart, and then Phil Collins takes over.
Right.
And then in the whatchamacallit, in the second, and then there is a song that is in there. It's called Trash in the Camp.
Right.
So yeah, he actually did do a cover version. Well, it was actually a version on the soundtrack with him and NSYNC.
Really?
That's an interesting combo, isn't it?
That's very with NSYNC of all groups. That's crazy.
Yeah, this was the 90s, folks, when boy bands were a craze. But anyway, but yeah, but the two songs, but I remember, yeah, when we just said Against All Odds and In the Air Tonight are the Phil Collins songs on the radio. We forgot one. You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan. That's been I've heard that on the radio a few times.
I personally, I gotta go back up to it. I personally have not. Let me go back to it. Well, I wonder where it charted. Hold on, let's see. On the Hot 100, it charted number 21.
Just missed the top 20.
Yeah, but it was number 1 on adult contemporary in the AC. So there you go. I mean, that explains something too, truthfully. And at the year end, it was number 3 on the adult contemporary. So I mean, he's had a lot of success.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just telling you. Yeah, I've heard that. Well, I remember around when Tarzan came out, and also in recent years, that song was freaking everywhere.
Maybe I was so young. I don't remember it personally, but that's me.
That song was everywhere, and also another song that was I don't know, it's kind of been forgotten about. It's called Strangers Like Me.
I've even heard of that.
You know, I want to know, can you show me? I want to know about the strangers like me.
I think I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, there is a no, but my favorite song from Tarzan is a song called it's very forgotten about. It's called Son of Man.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's called Son of Man. Son of Man, look to the sky. I really do love the beat in it. And yeah, but don't forget, folks, this wasn't the only time Phil Collins was with the mouse.
What was the other time?
For the movie Brother Bear.
Brother Bear. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that movie nowadays, but
to be honest, I haven't heard of it, so don't kill me.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the downfall of Disney's 2D animation. So,
then never mind. We don't have to talk about it.
But no, there are some good songs he did from that. But yeah, so I get you. After he won, he meets up with Elton John, and Phil goes, "Oh, Elton, here's my Oscar. Can you recommend a good polish for it? A good place to get it polished?" And they just sit there in the pub drinking and have their Oscars on the table. Literally, their Oscars are on the table.
That's funny.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, with Phil Collins, I don't despise it.
Yeah.
And you know what the weirdest thing is? If I were to make a top 5 Phil Collins songs list, most of them would a good amount of them would kind of be deep tracks.
I mean, this is beyond me at this point. Because like we said from the top of the show tonight, like full disclosure, everyone, we were like, when we came up with this topic, we were like, look, we want to talk about this. We want to be like careful with it, if you will, like, because to be honest, I'm not super knowledgeable. I mean, I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. That's why we did our fair share of research tonight. But Bill is I give Bill a lot of credit. He is very knowledgeable on a lot of stuff. So
yeah. Well, quick, here would be my top 5 Phil Collins songs. Number 5, and I know a lot of people are going to kill me because I put this at the bottom, In the Air Tonight.
As your number 5? Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
You know why? Because I'll admit it, I think it's very overplayed.
I tend to, I mean, that's the only one I could think of outside of Invisible Touch or from Genesis, or even like.
Yeah, I'm only counting solo ones. I'm not counting ones with Genesis. Number 4, I'm going to have to say Son of Man from Tarzan. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to have to say Against All Odds. I actually do like that song. My number 2 is a song that not a lot of people have heard of. It's called I Don't Want to Know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know what she said.
Can't say that I've heard of that one, truthfully.
Yeah. And my number 1, I just said it earlier, it's I Don't Care Anymore.
Okay.
Because it's that song when I'm having a bad day and someone just pissed me off. I just blast that song. Like I remember one time I got into a fight with a now former friend of mine, and I was just so pissed. I just pulled out that song and I was literally singing it on the top of my freaking lungs. And I think that song is just a good message for anyone who's been in a toxic relationship or a toxic friendship.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. Like the best part of that song is I don't care what you say. I'm doing all right by myself. And then it's the line. And then it's the line. I got better things. I got better things to do with my time. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But like I said, he probably when he gets married, honey, in a few years we're gonna get divorced, and I'm gonna write a song about it, and it's gonna get to the top 40. So yeah, thanks for understanding. But yeah, yeah. Well, like I was saying, I think if I was to give an honorable mention, I would put You'll Be in My Heart on there because it's a nice song. But I will admit, I think In the Air Tonight and You'll Be in My Heart are just drastically overplayed.
I agree with that. I mean, I feel like that's the only one. That's the only songs he's known for, despite having 7 number ones.
Yeah, because like we said, if you go on any radio station in here in the US, you will hear either In the Air Tonight, You'll Be in My Heart, Sesquito, I think you might hear here and there.
Yeah.
And Against All Odds.
Right. I mean,
For the 53rd time, here is In the Air Tonight with Phil Collins.
Literally, like
the last time we ever met. But I will say, I think the drum solo in that song is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. No, I mean, oh yeah.
But yeah, sadly though, Phil Collins, like I said, he's got diabetes. He's also got some other conditions. Your friend said he was basically sitting down the whole show.
I mean, my friend also recorded the whole show on YouTube as well. Plug for him as well if you want to check him out. He's one of my friends. His name's Christian. He's a good guy. Anyways, he said that Phil Collins was basically sitting down the whole show. He was like, he's singing, but he was sitting down. So, I mean, he's also 71. I mean, that's young and like somewhat young in rock star terms nowadays, but like still. So,
like our dear friend Daniel Zuckerman, shout out to Zuck.
Yeah, we gotta have you back on, bud.
We're having you back on one of these days, Zuck. We promise. We're having you back on.
Oscar season.
Grammy season.
Grammy season that's coming out.
You know what? He's a bigger Phil Collins. Damn it! We should have had him on tonight. He knows more about Phil Collins than we do. So I should have had him. But anyway.
Yeah, it's all right.
But anyway, Phil Collins. Like he has this joke about how Ringo Starr is older than him, and yet he's in better shape than Phil Collins is.
That's accurate. I mean, yeah. So,
because I know Ringo doesn't drink. He used to be like a really bad alcoholic.
That's right. Phil or Ringo?
Ringo, and also he's a vegetarian too.
Right. That's right.
So anyway, yeah, he goes, Phil Collins is younger than Ringo, and Ringo's in better shape than he is. And like, listen, I'm not poking fun at him, at Phil Collins. I hope he's okay. I hope he gets better. I hope he's taking care of himself. I hope he's got a good medical team. But yeah, just my friends who saw him in concert, they said it just was so sad to see him like that.
I mean, I can imagine it would be sad. I mean, because like you're looking at the guy who has so much success, people love him, and then you're like, oh well, he's just sitting down. So,
like, did your friend said if he sounded good or not? I didn't ask my friend. Did he say if he sounded good or did he sound like crap?
He didn't go into specifics. All he said it was a great show. Though. He loves Genesis. Invisible Touch is in his top 5 albums of all time. So,
abilities. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, it's just. Yeah, so yeah, that's the. Sorry, we couldn't really give you guys a real deep dive tonight. It's just that again, last week I was like, because I'm a big Journey fan, so Steve Perry stuff I was,
Yeah, and Chicago, I was on point with Speeders Terror, but we're just taking a different turn with this one.
Yeah, because we wanted to go like more internal bands of solo careers.
Right, of course. Yeah, what do you got?
But anyway, I think Phil Collins. I would actually debate that I think Phil Collins could be slightly overrated.
I mean,
well, maybe not him, but again, just like In the Air Tonight, like he's got that song didn't even hit number 1. He's got 7 number 1 hits. People, why don't you play any of those?
I second that, buddy.
We second that. So. Radio stations play Phil Collins's other number 1 hits.
Out of the 7 of them.
Stop play. How many times do I have to listen to In the Air Tonight?
Or You Can't Hurry Love, which is a cover of The Supremes. Let's not forget that. So, whatever.
Yeah, that is actually it is actually a pretty decent cover.
I like it. I like. I mean, I prefer the Supremes version over that, but that's me.
I think everybody likes the
The
likes
Supremes
the
version.
originals more than the covers.
I mean, yeah. So because it's the original recording. Yeah. So are we good for Phil Collins, bud?
I think we might be good for Phil Collins. So
All right.
I
So
think it's time to go over to Mr. Peter Great Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel, for those, but I'm gonna just share my initial impression because of Peter Gabriel. I like I know they're gonna think I'm crazy. I know less about Peter Gabriel than I do about Phil Collins, but I do like the song "In Your Eyes" and "Sledgehammer" is good too. "Shock the Monkey" is a good one as well. Bill, what's your take on Peter Gabriel?
Okay, I binge listened to Peter Gabriel today before I came on.
Oh my God.
And now I desperately want that time of my life back, please.
You're fine.
But the song, I feel Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins' stuff is like eerily similar. I feel like his stuff is eerily similar.
I tend to agree, like truthfully, but
it's just
it's very similar. Truth, it is. You're right.
It's either very ballady or it's the 80s synth
pop
stuff, just like Phil Collins.
That's why we chose these two together.
And I really hate to say this, aside from "In Your Eyes" and "Sledgehammer," I kind of find Peter Gabriel's music a little boring.
That's all fine.
I kind of find if there's like diehard Peter Gabriel fans out there, please don't hurt me. And listen, I'm sure Peter Gabriel, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's probably a really nice guy. But I just find just a couple of the songs I was listening today, I just found it boring. It's just more of that adult contemporary stuff.
I mean, they both fit into that mold so well, though, if you think about it.
Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Because only people think of one thing when they think of "In Your Eyes."
The boombox scene from Say Anything.
And that has probably been parodied so much in our culture.
Oh my God. Everyone knows that. If you don't know the movie, you know that scene. It's pretty funny.
No, like in South Park, there was an episode when Stan and his girlfriend break up, and Stan talks to his girlfriend's best friend and goes, "How do I get her back? We'll stand outside of her window, have a boombox, and play Peter Gabriel."
Oh my God.
Your eyes. But what are your thoughts on Peter Gabriel?
I mean, I like 3 of his songs, and I do respect him as an artist. I mean, like I can like basically let me put it this way. With Peter Gabriel, I mean, I know who Phil Collins is. I know who Peter Gabriel is. I will say though that Peter Gabriel, I feel like he is. I feel like I know more about Phil Collins compared to Peter Gabriel and just the two of them. But I will say Peter Gabriel, I like him for what I like Sledgehammer. I like Salisbury Hill's great too. We can't forget that. We also can't forget what's the one I can't. "In Your Eyes" and also "Shock the Monkey" is a good one too. Like I said, let's go down to his singles for a little bit, shall we?
Yeah.
So he was with Genesis for a long time, and
he left in 75 and was replaced by Mr. Collins.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they were both in the same band, but one was replaced by the other.
Yeah, Phil Collins replaced Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. So let's see. How do I go? His discography.
But I'm sure it wasn't a big loss because I'm sure Mr. Gabriel tends to be doing very well for himself.
Yeah, I mean Peter Gabriel. So "In Your Eyes" is played all the time. Sledgehammer is played all the time. So at least on like contemporary stuff. So let's just look at this. Let's look at
it's adult contemporary night here.
Yeah, welcome to the Super Review Show, full of adult contemporary music. Let's see. All right, hold on. Oh, I take that back. Hold on one sec. So the U.S. Hot 100, right? Let's just look at this for a second. I'll read this stuff for you.
Let's hear it.
So Let's see. So the U.S. top 40. Hold on a second. U.S. Salisbury Hill was his first hit, peaking number 68. Okay, it's not bad. At least here in the U.S. Games Without Frontiers did a little bit better, number 48, and then Shock the Monkey reached number 29 on the, I believe it's the 100 or the U.S. the main charts. It might have been number 1. I forget.
His first top 40 hit.
Yes. And his next one was Salisbury Hill Live, reached number 84, of course. Sledgehammer reached number 1 in both the main and the adult contemporary. That makes sense. Okay. And then In Your Eyes, it was a back-to-back number 1 for him. That's crazy.
In the mainstream, in the adult
like
contemporary.
On that. So which truthfully I like In Your Eyes quite a bit. I mean, obviously everyone knows it from.
That's okay. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Sorry if I don't seem energetic tonight, folks. It's just that these are just two artists that, no offense, don't really get me excited.
No, I mean, but we picked them and we're going with it. That's all.
We're paying our dues.
Yeah. So Big Time, Red Rain are both 2 hit singles that reached number 3. I did
listen to Red Rain today, and
was it boring?
Not awful. It's just.
Was it boring?
It's just I feel like he's just belted as hard as much as he can.
Oh, geez. All right.
And he's trying to make it sound so powerful, but it's actually just putting me to sleep.
Oh my God. So after the early 90s, he really didn't have much more success because digging in the dirt in 1992 was his last number 1, but also only charted number 52 on the Hot 100. It looks like that. It just says. And after that, there really was not anything else from him. I mean, Kiss That Frog was number 18, but that's not much. And then 1994, he had a song called The Red Rain Live. That's really it. And after that, he never really charted in the USA, and he's kind of gotten forgotten about. But
he ain't crying about that, JT.
No, he's got money though. Don't get me wrong, but
every time some asshole is about to hold up a boombox and play In Your Eyes, he's probably in the bush, comes out of the bush, puts his head out, says, "Hey, where's my money?"
Yeah, I mean, hey. Also, I want to talk about something really quick. The only album I know of is, truthfully, the only album I know is So.
So what?
Exactly. So what? I mean, it's not like, I'm not saying it's a bad album. It does have In Your Eyes. It has Don't Give Up. It has Big Time, Red Rain. I mean, those are probably his most successful songs, truthfully.
Wait, Red Rain
and Sledgehammer too.
Maybe it's a ripoff of Purple Rain.
Maybe.
Rest in peace, Prince.
Yes, R.I.P. I think, truthfully, that this also has 5 hit singles on it that charted on the Hot 100. I mean, Sledgehammer, In Your Eyes, Don't Give Up, Big Time, Red Rain. These are all big songs off this album. I mean, I would say So is probably his biggest commercial success, but after that, he didn't really go anywhere else. And that's my opinion of that.
Like he had about 6 number 1 hits.
What? No. I mean, not number 1 hits. Like Sledgehammer was the only number 1, but the singles released off this album were big songs. Like they were Big Time, Red Rain, Sledgehammer, In Your Eyes. These are all like big charting songs, and he did a good job with that too. So, I this is probably my most well known Peter Gabriel stuff. Truthfully, I'm not like but the thing is too, would I go out and listen to on my own? Probably not. So, like, would I go out and listen to it on my own? Probably not. I like it, but is it something I listen to on a daily basis? No. Do I like it overall? Yeah, and there's good stuff on it. So,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, like I said, I like Sledgehammer. I like In Your Eyes, but
I mean, that's really it, though. I mean, those are the 2 biggest songs of the album.
It really is. It really is. It's the welcome to Adult Contemporary Night here on the Super Review Show.
Hell yeah.
When we play the music that your mom probably played when she was dropping you off at school when you were a kid.
Probably. I mean, who knows? Honestly, overall, I think So is probably the best album recommendation I could say we could probably give out for people too from Peter Gabriel. So
So what? As my
So.
granddad would say, so buttons. Grandpa Murph, we miss you. Anyway,
oh boy, but yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Bill?
About what? That So is the.
If you could recommend any Peter Gabriel album, would you recommend? I'd recommend So.
I would recommend So as well.
I mean, this is really, and also his most recent album was like in 2011 as a solo artist. So I mean, it's, whatever. But I don't know. We really are hitting on the adult contemporary stuff tonight. Cool. So Peter Gabriel, and what's his face? And he was in Genesis first, right? You said?
Yeah, and then he was replaced by Phil Collins,
which obviously had much more success than he had a lot of success compared to Peter Gabriel. But it's funny how they both came in this. They were both in the same. They're both from the same band at different times. That's pretty cool. So
yeah,
that's me.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're good friends or they hate each other.
I wonder too. I think I would assume they're friends. I'm assuming they're aware of each other. I don't know if Peter Gabriel was on stage with Genesis at the show that my friend went to. I wasn't sure. Like, on their tour, The Last Domino, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then they had, I think this was his own solo tour when he said, "Not dead yet."
Yep. That was him. I remember that he announced that tour.
I'm not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet.
Yet.
If there's one solo album by Phil Collins that we could recommend, what would you think? I would say, truthfully, let his. I don't even know. I would say his debut album as face value.
Either that, or maybe "Hello, I Must Be Going." Hold on, click on that, please. "Hello, I Must."
Either his first two, probably. I mean, either face value or "Hello, I Must Be Going."
Yeah, but then "No Jacket Required." It was #1 everywhere except Australia. Not Australia. What's AUT? What's AUT?
Austria, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. Scroll over that. Like put the cursor on the.
Gotcha. Austria. So it was the number, but seriously was #1 across the world. Then the rest followed from there. So I don't know.
Both of these men have had great success.
I mean, they both were like we said, they're both in the same band at different times, and they both had different successes. So I mean, Phil Collins is still Phil Collins, and Peter Gabriel is still Peter Gabriel. What do you think? Is there anything that you want to say about them? Are you good?
I think we might be good.
Sorry for such a quick broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but this is one of those things where just like we don't have much to talk about with it, and we're not trying to bash. We love. I like both. I'm not saying I don't like either one. I like both of them, truthfully. But honestly,
this is just something that we just really didn't get excited about tonight. So
it was. Mainly because we haven't really been. How would you want to explain? We're not like Genesis. I like Genesis. I'm not like the.
I don't hate Genesis.
No, neither do I. I don't hate Genesis either. I think they're a great band. I think they put out good music. They have sold a lot of records worldwide, but I just think that as far as them, they're just not in our radar all the time. I like them.
Not one of my. They're just not one of my favorites, and that doesn't mean I dislike them.
Exactly.
That just means they're not my favorite.
Yeah, nothing too crazy,
But Genesis cover band though, Exodus.
Oh my God,
that does not exist. If it does, I'm gonna go with that corner and cry.
It could exist, but
we are Exodus, the Genesis cover band.
Oh my God.
Picture this. Picture a Genesis cover band that only plays Peter Gabriel Genesis.
That'd be pretty funny.
It's like a parody of the movie Step Brothers, the 80s Billy Joel band.
Oh yeah.
It'd be like, we're Genesis cover band. We play only Peter Gabriel Genesis. What? Play Invisible Touch.
Yeah.
No, that's Phil Collins. We only play Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, right.
Play Take Me Home. Again, Phil Collins. In the Air Tonight. That's not even a Genesis song. That's one of his solo songs.
Exactly.
It'd be like if anyone is planning to start a Peter Gabriel Genesis cover band, you're not going to have much success.
No, you won't. Even as a cover band, a tribute act, you won't be able to do it.
It'd be funny though.
It would.
I would want to see that just to
see a Peter Gabriel. And
you know what? I want to see
Collins.
Okay. I want to see
what?
How much scroll down? How much success did Genesis have with Peter Gabriel? So that was in the 70s.
Let's see. Gabriel's departure. Collins becomes the front man. I think it says apparently they had more success with Collins. It just says that.
Yeah. But you know what? At the end of the day,
it's it's whatever you think.
I don't think either of these men are angry because, like I said, it's not like they're struggling for rent or anything. They're both doing very well for themselves.
They are. They're both doing really well. I mean, they're both having a lot of success, and
they're both doing. I'm sure Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel are both doing very well for themselves, and okay. I think now we need to ask.
Yes.
Who's better?
Who is the better?
Peter Gabriel or Phil Collins?
I would say, I mean, look, it's hard to say, truthfully. I would say if we had to pick, though, between, like, you're talking about success versus quality or quality. I mean, they're either or. There's really no deciding in this point. Honestly, I would say that they both have their own up, and they both have their own like down. Like. But honestly, if it was up to me personally, Bill, I'm gonna go with Phil Collins, and here's why. Mainly because when you think of, to be honest, when I think of Genesis, I don't really think of Genesis. I think of Phil Collins and his solo career more than I do of Genesis or Peter Gabriel. I mean, I like Peter Gabriel. I know Salisbury Hill. I know In Your Eyes. But as far as Phil Collins go, I know much now, especially I know more songs by him than I do with Peter Gabriel. But that's me.
But no, I kind of agree because, we said this last week with Steve Perry. When you think of Steve Perry, you think of
Journey.
You don't think of his solo stuff. You think of Journey. Like I said last week, you could like if I sat down and listened to a Steve Perry solo song and you didn't tell me it was a Steve Perry solo song, I would think it was a Journey song.
I mean, yeah.
I would think it was a Journey song. But, I think with Phil Collins, it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of when you think of Phil Collins, okay, maybe you do think of Genesis to an extent. You think of Genesis to an extent. But when you think of Phil Collins, you think mainly of his solo stuff. Like if you played me a Phil Collins Genesis song, I would probably think, okay, that's one of his solo songs. But you know what? You got to give Phil Collins credit on one thing now. When he does, because I'm sure when he goes on like separate tours, like when he goes on Genesis tours, he only plays Genesis stuff. And when he does solo tours, I'm sure he does most of his solo stuff, and I'm sure he does do some Genesis stuff.
Yeah.
But he's got to play, like, one thing about it, he's got to play, like, when he goes on tour, he's got to play, like, 2 different set lists.
Almost, yeah, I would say
he's got to play, like, basically, because when he's with Genesis, because I was asking my friend, I said, do you think he plays, like, In the Air Tonight? He goes, nah, I think he just does Genesis.
When they're a band, is what you're saying.
Yeah, when he's on tour with Genesis, he probably just plays Genesis.
Yeah.
But when he's on a solo tour, again, he probably does his solo stuff, and he probably does throw some Genesis songs in there.
Oh, I mean, he probably has to, though, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like the opposite of Steve Perry. It's like when I said with Steve Perry, if you played me one of his solo stuff, I would think I'm listening to a Journey song.
Yeah, and Peter Cetera, same thing with him. Like, it's like, you know, I would listen to a Peter Cetera song. It sounds like a Chicago song. So they write in that style. So,
but here it's the opposite. It's like if you played me a Phil Collins Genesis song, I would think it's his solo stuff.
Yeah. So
and Peter Gabriel, like I said, I listened to some of his stuff today, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Again, I just found some of his stuff kind of boring.
And that's fine. I mean, it's all.
Hey, I'm entitled to my opinion. And listen, again, I'm sure Peter Gabriel's I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I'm sure he's not crying over what I said tonight.
I probably not. He's probably thinking about it. He's probably thinking about being in the air tonight.
Peter Gabriel's probably not crying. I guarantee you, he's not losing sleep over what I say on this podcast tonight.
No, and plus they both made a lot of money, so they're fine.
Like, again, every time a jackass gets a boombox and starts playing In Your Eyes, he's probably in the bush and goes, "Ahem, where's my money?"
Exactly.
So anyway, if you're gonna ask me who I would pick, Phil Collins or Peter Gabriel, I'm gonna have to say, because I know more stuff by him, I'm gonna have to say Phil Collins.
I tend to agree with that, my friend. I tend to agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's about it. You know what? Why don't we look at the
That was it, bud. I mean, that's. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah. Why don't we? I was gonna say, why don't we look at the chat board real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Your dad, Mr. Mahoney, shout out. Let's go. Two of my favorite artists from the 80s. Bigger hit for Phil. Oh, so see, yes, they both good ones. Ooh, I gotta see the video of Land of Confusion. Joe Wiley, greetings. Yeah, not a lot of interaction tonight.
That's all right. But ultimately, yeah. So are we all set?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think we're good. I think this is one of the shortest shows we've ever done. So, but yeah, I mean, but you're all good, right? That's all your thoughts.
Yeah. So, you know what? Should we tell them for next week, or should we just let them figure it out?
It'll be a surprise. We'll make sure it's a surprise.
Guys, next week, we're not going to say much, but it's the big one.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a big discussion next week. I'm flipping out already thinking about it. But when we get to that, we will let you guys know. When you see the stream pop up in your subscription feed, you'll see what it is. So don't worry.
Yeah, you're going to see what it is. It's like,
you're going to start crying.
I'll give you one hint.
No, are you sure?
It's another inner band thing.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That's all we're going to say, guys.
And here's another hint. They play music. That's your hint.
There you go. That's your hint.
Which narrows it down to just about, 10,000 bands.
Or something like that. Whatever, yeah. But that will do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us as always. And this is a pretty quick episode for us, but wait next week's going to be a long discussion, I guarantee it. So I want to thank Bill, of course, for always joining me as always.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Of course. And we will see you guys next time on the Super Review Show's Mixed Bag. We'll see you guys next week for the big discussion coming soon.
And don't forget, check out Sports Insanity Podcast. We're on all platforms.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, plug for the Sports Insanity Network. Go ahead.
Yeah. Check out Sports Insanity Network. We are on all platforms, and check us out on www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com.
Awesome. Thank you, bud. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.